All right, exercise 4C, let's have a look. 4C, it's called or titled Language of Polynomials. All it is this looks intimidating right here. But it isn't. It just tells you that x to the power of n, so it could be 99, and then that will be the a coefficient of the 99th term, and it goes all the way down to a1 to a x0. Okay? So you got this expression that essentially summarizes what a polynomial is. Okay? And if you didn't realize as well, each polynomial, say cubic, each power goes down by 1. So it becomes x squared plus cx to the power of 1 plus d, which is x to the power of 0. Yeah? So they're just saying if it was 99, it will follow the same pattern until it reaches x to the power of 0. Okay? Just notice that my laptop is running out of batteries. It could turn off any moment. So today's lesson, or this one, all they want you to remember is how to read the polynomial function. And the last example I got for you there is how do you solve by equating coefficients? And that's it. That's what 4C is. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm going to plug this in. Are we good? Okay, we're good again. Cool. So AXN is the... What did I write here? I think I was just trying to say that's the order. So the nth power, highest order, and ax to the power of n is the first term. That's all. Okay. All right, sums of cubes. This is what you learned last year. So sums of cubes, just to remind you, if it's... sorry, I got it the other way around, didn't I? It's the other way around. Sums of cubes and difference of cubes. X cubed minus a cubed can be factorized as x minus a, x squared plus ax plus a squared. Does anyone remember what the sums? What's the difference? Because it's similar. If you know one, then you know the other. Anyone remember? So one is x cubed minus a cubed, and the other one's x cubed plus a cubed. It worked. You know the answer? Oh, that answer. Alex, do you know? Sorry? Do you know the formula for the sums of cubes? No, I wrote it wrong. This is actually difference of cubes there because it says minus there. But the sums and minus are very similar. Do you know the difference between the two? Same inside, except for one thing. The middle one, instead of plus ax, minus ax. That's it. Okay, so it's just a nice one to remember. Write it down, or if you type it in your calculator, and then you can memorize that one as well. Just type factor in. That will be for the next exercise, but I just thought I'd chuck it in there for you too. Now, today's one, here we go. Reading a polynomial function. You got p of x, and they've given you a bunch here, and then q of x. So when they say p of x plus q of x, what does that mean? It means that you're adding these two functions together, but since they're equal, you're literally just getting these two equations and adding them. Okay, so if I wrote it out, p of x plus q of x, that should be equivalent to, let's write this entire thing here, so that's x minus 5x cubed plus 9x squared minus 2x to the power of 5 plus 20. Plus, now I've got to write the second one. So I've got this other group here. That's 3x to the power of 5 plus 2x to the power of 4 minus x cubed minus 12. It's a handful. You're not going to do this in the exam. It's just more of getting you to understand the language of polynomials. So what you can see there is, what can I simplify? Well, I can see that the x's, there's no x's there, so x is good. Cubes, I've got an x cube here, and I've got an x cube here, so negative 5 minus 1 gives you minus 6x cubed. Then I've got an x squared. There's no x squares on the other side, so therefore I'll keep it as plus 9x squared. That's a plus x, which is there. What else do I also have? X to the power 5, and this one also has x to the power 5. So together that is negative 2 plus 3, which is positive x to the power 5. And then you notice that this one has x to the power 4 and the other one doesn't. So that's plus 2x to the power 4. And then finally, constants. 3, 2, 1. Yep, good. And then now constants. So plus 20 minus 20, 8. Write your answers in, usually we do it in the highest order down, so it just looks neater and you know that you're on the right track. So it should be x to the power 5 plus 2x to the power 4 minus 6x cubed plus 9x squared plus x plus 8. Okay? And the last one, p of 1 versus q of 1. This just means sub x equals 1 into both p of x and q of x. So if you just look at that, because I rearranged it nicer, you can sort of see it as it's just 1 plus 2 minus 6 plus 9 plus 1 plus 8. And what does that work out to be? That's 3, take away 6, negative 3. Negative 3 plus 6 is 6. 6 plus 1 is 7. 7 plus 8 is 15. Okay, so that's the first part of the exercise 4C. What it's really trying to train you to do is to be able to read polynomial functions, nothing else. Yeah. The one I actually wanted to practice with you, though, is this question. And that's your last question that goes on to the next few pages. But let's have a look at this one. So when you first start year 12, I think in chapter 2, if you've done it, you would have done something like this already too. What do you do here? It says it is known that x cubed minus x squared minus 6x minus 4 is equal to this. Your job is to find b and c. I've already broken up the steps for you so you can see what happens. Usually that's just the question and then you need to do it yourself. But here we go. Because we've got a cubic over here, you can either factorize it if you want, or we can solve it by solving the coefficients. Okay, coefficients means that if I gave you, for example, 3x cubed plus 4x squared, and I said this is equal to ax cubed plus bx squared, we can equate them and say 3 must equal to a, and therefore 4 must equal to b. Just because it's the same equation and it's equal to each other, therefore the coefficients must be the same. So in our case here, since you've got this is your expression, then you need to expand this to get that. Okay, so here we go, let's do it. X times x times bx, x times c. What you're going to get is you'll get, it actually might be easier if you factorize the other side actually, but oh else. We'll do x cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus, and then 1 times x squared plus bx plus c. We simplify them, so we've got x cubed. What do you do here when you have bx squared plus x squared? How do you simplify that?
You do it as x squared, and then brackets a plus 1.
Correct. Factorize it. And the reason why you want to factorize is because then you've got the coefficient of x squared. That way you can then compare later. So you got b plus 1 is the coefficient of x squared. Do the same for the x's. So cx plus bx. What you should have now is c plus b is equal to x. And then your last one is plus c. That's going to be key for the next step. So I'm going to copy this one down. I'm going to copy that. Copy. Oh, that's bad. I'll just write it again. So equating now. The next part is find b and c by equating the coefficients. Can you see, once you've factorize, or not factorize, but expand and simplify, you've got one side is equal to x cubed. I'm going to do another color. X cubed minus x squared minus 6x minus 4. Can you see here? x cubed is equal to x cubed. That means x squared over here, that's x squared as well. B plus 1 has to equal to -1. This is called equating coefficients. So if I put it together, you can see now -1 must equal to b plus 1. Therefore, b must equal to -2. If you then equate the second one, notice this is c plus b is the number in front of x. This is the number in front of x. So you can equate these two together. So you don't actually have to factorize the first one. It's just easier by equating the coefficients. Okay, so from here, you can then say -6 is equal to c plus b. But since you figured out what b is, -6 is equal to c minus 2. And c equals -4. Okay, but that's it. That's pretty much 4b, 4c is a quick summary of what you need to know in terms of polynomials. So for A, B, C, D, you don't have to do the exercises. The worksheet that I gave to you, that should summarize the exercise unless you want to do more. Okay? Let me know if there's any questions on these that you might want, but I think it's fairly straightforward at this point. If you're working on chapter 3, please continue working on chapter 3. You got about 7